Your renewal comes back, the increase is really ugly. Leadership wants to know why. And somewhere inside that giant claims report is a pharmacy number that makes everybody in the room go, wait, what are we paying for GLP-1s? And then comes the question, do we keep covering them? Do we tighten the rules? Do we cover them for diabetes but not weight loss? Do we cut weight loss coverage altogether? That's a lot of questions. But here's what I do not want you to do. Don't make a rash decision because your broker showed you one giant pharmacy number and everybody panicked. Because there are a few things you need to know first, especially if you're self-funded or level funded, and one of them is sitting inside of your stop loss contract. By the end of this episode, I'm going to give you the 3 GLP-1 coverage options employers are really choosing between, the stop loss question I want you to ask, and 5 exact questions you can take into your renewal meeting. Because the decision is bigger than GLP-1s cost too much. Who am I? I'm Erica Kirby, and this is another episode of Nobody Told Me That, the benefits job nobody trained you for. I work in benefits. I work in the trenches. I do not work from benefits on a PowerPoint presentation. So let's get into it. Nobody told me that GLP-1 decisions starts with your data, not your opinion. GLP-1s are expensive. We all know that. Mercer reported that GLP-1 medications approved for weight loss can cost more than $1,000 a month before rebates. And Mercer now projects employer health benefit costs will rise about 6.7% in 2026, pushing the average cost of $18,500 per employee. But here's where it actually gets very interesting when you factor in the GLP-1s. The International Foundation of Employee Benefit Plans reported in July of 2026, so this is recent data, the GLP-1s drugs now account for 11.4% of annual claims among surveyed employers. And I bet you're curious, because I was, what was it in 2023? It was 6.9%. So yes, there is a real cost issue, but please don't take those numbers into your renewal meeting and assume that they're your numbers. Because quite frankly, I don't care what another employer is spending. I'm trying to make the decision about my plan. I want to know, what are we spending? How many members are using this medication? For what conditions? What's the net after rebates? What is our trend? And what happens if utilization keeps growing? Your claims, your contract, your decision. This is where I want you to slow the meeting down, because a $2 million pharmacy number tells me almost nothing. It has to be broken apart. So before you decide what to cut, you need to ask them, show me what we're actually paying for. Number 2, nobody told me there's really only 3 lanes. Once you have the data, this gets a whole lot easier, because despite the vendor presentations, the clinical programs, the PBM solutions, and fancy terminology, you really only have 3 basic options, and that really does make the decision a whole lot easier. Lane number 1, keep weight loss coverage, but add guardrails. You keep the benefit, but you tighten the rules around who qualifies and how the medication is used. That may mean prior authorization, clinical criteria, step therapy, a required weight management program. So you will actually have specific providers, specific rules, and guardrails around who and when the medication can be used. Or another utilization management strategy, and this isn't unusual. Business Group on Health reported 67% of large employers surveyed cover GLP-1s for weight management, but the employers are increasingly putting controls around that coverage. The upside, you keep a benefit employees really value while trying to manage the cost. The downside, there's going to be friction. They're not going to want to do the prior authorization. There will be denials. There will be appeals. And guess where and who the employee comes when something gets denied? It's not going to be the PBM. It's not going to be your broker. It's going to be you. So don't approve a complicated program without understanding what the employee experience is going to look like, because that headache and that heartache is going to rest on your shoulders. Lane number 2, cover GLP-1s for diabetes, but not weight loss. This is your middle lane. You maintain coverage for appropriate diabetes treatment while excluding weight loss only coverage under the plan design. That can give an employer significant cost relief without eliminating GLP-1 coverage altogether. But don't hear middle lane and think easy lane, because you may have employees currently taking the medications for weight management, You may have appeals. You may have questions about indicators. You need to understand exactly how your PBM will administer that distinction. Lane number 3, stop covering GLP-1s for weight loss. And yes, employers are doing this. Cost pressure is real, and Mercer's latest survey found some large employers dropped weight loss GLP-1s coverage in 2026, while others are considering doing that for 2027. And here's something that's really important. Business Group on Health found that almost 67% of surveyed currently cover GLP-1s for weight loss management. Only 72% of those employers said they were likely to continue coverage in 2027. So the conversation is happening everywhere. But cutting coverage isn't just a spreadsheet decision. You have people on these medications right now. Some of them may have been taking them for months, maybe longer. So if you're going to change coverage, you need to understand the financial impact, the human impact. There are 3 lanes. None of them are free. None of them are consequence free. Cover plus guardrails, diabetes only, cut weight loss coverage. Those are your 3 lanes. Point number 3. Nobody told me to check stop loss before making the decision. Okay, from the trenches, because this is exactly the kind of thing that gets lost when somebody says, we're evaluating our pharmacy strategy. That sounds lovely. Here's the translation. Before we change anything, somebody needs to pull the actual contract. If you're self-funded, level funded, I want you to look at the stop loss provisions, not the renewal PowerPoint. The actual contract, because your stop loss treatment of these claims matters. There can be exclusions, special provisions, or other terms that change how much exposure actually remains with the employer. And you cannot assume that because you have stop loss insurance, every dollar actually works its way towards reimbursement the way you think it should. So ask, show me exactly how GLP-1 claims are treated under our stop loss contract. Not, are we covered? Because somebody will say yes and move on. Tell them, I want the language. Are there exclusions? Anything carved out? Anything that doesn't accumulate the way you think it does? Show me. Because nobody wants to discover the exception after the claim happens. If it isn't in the contract, I don't want to build my budget around it. Point number 4. Nobody told me what to actually ask the broker. You have great brokers and you have mediocre brokers. I've been very blessed to have incredible brokers that have given me more than enough information where they are truly a partner. But unfortunately, I have realized that those are the exception and not always the rule. These are the questions that you need to take into that meeting so you have the answers to the questions you need. Number 1, break out our GLP-1 claims for indication. I want diabetes and weight management separated. If the broker can't do it, ask the PBM what data they can provide. Because again, you cannot make a good decision from one giant GLP-1 number. Number 2, show me the stop loss language related to these claims. Exact language, not summary. Number 3, model all 3 coverage options using our claims. Show me current coverage with guardrails, diabetes only coverage, and exclusion of weight loss coverage. Then show me what each one actually does to the projected plan cost. Number 4, what rebate assumptions are built into this model? Because list price isn't necessarily what your plan ultimately pays. Rebates are absolutely amazing and they save your plan astronomically in a lot of cases, but you only know if your broker or your PBM tells you. Mercer specifically points out that employer net costs can be substantially different because of negotiated rebates. So when somebody puts a giant GLP-1 number on the screen, ask what number you're actually looking at. Is this gross? Is this net? Is this before rebates? After rebates? Tell me. Number 5, what does the utilization management program cost? Please ask this, because sometimes we get so excited about the projected savings from the solution that nobody puts the vendor fee right next to the savings. So no, put them together. If the program saves us $500,000 but costs us $350,000 to run, I need to see $150,000 as the cost savings, not $500,000 savings slide. Show me the net number. Don't tell me the savings. Show me what is left after we pay for the solution. Nobody told me the communication part of the decision. This is the part that I think that we forget. We spend months working on the renewals. We look at the claims, we look at the trends, the premium, the stop loss, the rebates, the utilization, the vendors. And then sometimes we make a major change and give ourselves a week or two to actually plan the communications. So if you're considering changing the GLP-1 coverage, start thinking about the communication while you're making the decision. Because here's the thing, every number on that spreadsheet is a human who's impacted. This is the employee taking the medication right now. It helped them lose 60 pounds. Maybe it improved their AC1s. Maybe they finally feel like there's something that's working. Or maybe your plan is spending an amount that leadership genuinely cannot sustain. Both things can be true. You are allowed to make a financially responsible plan decision, but do not make employees discover the decision at the pharmacy counter. Give them notice, explain what is changing, explain when, explain what options they have. Give them somewhere to go with questions. And make sure your customer service teams, your PBM carrier, internal HR people are telling employees the same thing. Remember, a perfectly reasonable benefit can become a disaster when the communication comes out late or if employees get conflicting notice. A hard benefits decision becomes 10 times harder when the employee is surprised by it. So before you make a GLP-1 decision at renewal, 1, get your actual claims data. 2, know your 3 lanes. Cover with guardrails, diabetes only, or remove weight loss coverage. 3, read your stop loss contract. 4, make your broker model the options using your data, your rebates, and the actual cost of any program they're recommending. And 5, plan your employee communication before the decision is final, not after open enrollment has already started. And if your GLP-1 decision is going to change someone's coverage, the email you send matters almost as much as the decision itself. I put together a Steal My Email template toolkit with a guide and 5 copy and paste emails templates you can use to communicate plan changes without creating complicated panic. It's a plug and play design and it's free. You can grab it at ericakirby.com. I'll also put the link in the description. And while you're there, join the Hive. That's where I send the practical advice, jargon-free benefits, tips, and tricks directly to your inbox. Nobody told me the hardest part of renewal wasn't the math. It's realizing that every number on that spreadsheet belongs to a person. Your job isn't to save money at any cost. Your job isn't to say yes to every benefit at any cost. Your job is to understand the plan well enough to make deliberate decisions and then communicate it like people affected by it actually matter. That's the benefits job nobody trained you for. And remember, you are called, you are destined. Don't change yourself for anyone, and you've got this.